Okay, which choice best states the main purpose of the text? The following text is adapted from Jane Austen's 1814 novel Mansfield Park. The speaker, Tom, is considering staging a play at home with a group of his friends and family. Okay. We mean nothing but a little amusement among ourselves, just to vary the scene and exercise our powers in something new. Okay, they just want to have fun, right? They're not doing a professional commercial production. They just want to have some fun, it looks like. We want no audience, no publicity. We may be trusted, I think, in choosing some play most perfectly unexceptionable. So they don't want anything that's sort of famous or outstanding. They don't even want an audience. They just want to put on a play for their own fun. And I can conceive no greater harm or danger to any of us in conversing in the elegant written language. So they mean no harm, they mean no danger, they just want to have some fun again, of some respectable author than in chattering in words of our own. So rather than just having their own conversation, they thought they'd put their own play on at home for fun, right? Nothing commercial, no harm, no danger. Let's see what answer reflects these ideas. To offer Tom's assurance that the play will be inoffensive and involve only a small number of people. They don't want an audience. They don't want publicity, so a small number of people. They want to be unexceptional. They want no harm, no danger. That's inoffensive. And the guy's basically offering assurance to somebody that it's going to be okay. It's going to be low key. It's going to be fun. A seems to be the right answer. Let's check B, C, and D. To clarify that the play will not be performed in the manner Tom originally intended. We have no idea what he originally intended. That's simply not in the text. C, to elaborate on the idea that the people around Tom lack the skills. No, he doesn't say they lack the skills. The opposite. He says we may be trusted in choosing a most perfectly unexceptionable play of no harm. And it's better for us to convert in the written language of the author than in their own words. So it's not that they lack skills. That's not an idea in there at all. C is wrong. D, to assert that Tom believes the group performing the play will be able to successfully promote it. Yeah, he thinks that. I mean, that seems clear, right? That they can communicate in the language of the author rather than their own words, so they can do it. But that's not really the purpose. The purpose of the whole text is to offer assurance to someone that this play will be inoffensive and relatively small. (18) So again, we want a main purpose of the text. What's the whole paragraph functioning to do? Is it describing an experiment that addresses an unresolved question? Is it comparing two distinct methods? Is it presenting evidence in support of a hypothesis? Does it discuss the findings of a study? What exactly is going on? Let's read. Space scientists such and such planted seeds of such and such in samples of lunar regolith, the surface material of the moon. So they planted seeds on the moon and serving as a control group in terrestrial soil. So somewhere here on Earth. So they have seeds on Earth and they have seeds on the moon. Okay. They found that while all the seeds germinated, the roots of the regolith-grown planets, that is the moon plants, were stunted compared with those of the control group, that is the Earth plants. Moreover, unlike the plants in the control group, the regolith or moon plants exhibited red pigmentation, reduced leaf size, and inhibited growth rates, indicators of stress that were corroborated by post-harvest molecular analysis. So basically, the moon plants didn't grow as much as the Earth plants. They were stunted. Okay? So the purpose here seems to be to show that plants don't grow on the moon. They're stressed more than they are on Earth. So A, it describes an experiment that addressed an unresolved question about the extent to which lunar regolith resembles terrestrial soils. It's not about how much the lunar and the terrestrial soils are alike. It's not a positive comparison of likenesses here. That's not really what's going on. It compares two distinct methods of assessing indicators of stress in plants. No. I mean, there is stress on the moon. It never says there's stress on Earth. So these are not two distinct methods of assessing stress. That's not right. C, it prevents evidence in support of the hypothesis that seed germination in loober habitats is unattainable. Well, it's not unattainable. They grew. Even the moon plants grew, just not as much. D, it discusses the findings of a study. Yes, there is a study, and they had a control group, moon versus Earth plant growth. And the study evaluated the effects of exposing a plant species to lunar soil conditions. That's exactly what the study was. And the result was that they didn't grow quite as well. D is going to be our correct answer. (19) Okay, what best describes the overall structure of the text? Okay, so what's the purpose or the function of the overall text here? Let's take a look. Is it to introduce a collaborative spoken word project? Is it to mention a collection of spoken word poems? Is it to summarize the efforts to produce a collection of spoken word poems? These sound a lot alike. Is it to connect two artists to the same spoken word poetry project? Probably not that. I don't know. Let's go ahead and read. Raymond Antrobus, an accomplished poet and writer of prose, recently released his debut spoken word poetry album, The First Time I Wore Hearing Aids, in collaboration with somebody else, Ian Brenner. Okay, so these are the two men. The purpose here is not to connect these two. The album contains both autobiographical and reflective pieces combining Antrobus's spoken words with Brennan's fragmented audio elements and pieces of music to convey how people who are deaf may experience sound, both presence and absence of sound. Some critics suggest the album questions the function of sound in the world, highlighting that the experience of sound is multifaceted. Okay, so we have a critical review of their work. So what did they do? They came together, they created a spoken word album, one with words, the other with other music and audio elements that reflect what it might be like to be deaf. Critics indicated a response. Okay, so all right, so it introduces a collaborative spoken word poetry project. It's doing that, yes. It details the approach taken to produce the work. Yeah, part of it was autobiography with words, part of it was audio elements. It is detailing that. And then provides an example of a critique the album received. Yeah, it does do that. It shows their critique. So this looks good. Okay. Is it a correct function as opposed to just what is said? Introduces, details, provides an example. I think it is. So let's check B, C, and D, but this is definitely a candidate. It mentions a collection of spoken word poems. It does do that. Distinguishes one poem as being exemplar on the album. It doesn't really do that. Where does it say one poem is exemplar, somehow special or set apart? Nowhere. B is not right. C, it summarizes the efforts to produce a collection of spoken words. Okay, good. Presents biographies of two people. Well, does it? Does it present the biographies? What does it actually say? It says there's autobiographical, work in reflective pieces. That's not the same as presenting the biographies of the two people, okay? These are not the same. Similar words, but not the same ideas at all. Therefore, don't get confused. C is incorrect. D, it connects two artists to the same spoken word poetry project. Okay. Explains the extent of their collaboration on each poem. Well, did it really go through the collaboration of each poem? That's pretty extreme. Each and every poem. I'm not sure how many are on there, but it sounds like there are quite a few. So the extent, no, I don't think it really describes the collaboration on each poem. And then provides an overview of the technique used to produce the work. Not quite right. And it says nothing about the critics. D is not going to be the right answer. Our correct answer was the original, A.